Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. We are from Group 2 and we will be presenting on the case of ABC Private Limited. Our group consists of 6 members: Khairunisa, Aida Sofia, Najia Aisha, Shaza Huda, Ain Aida and Yasmin Fazrina. First and foremost, let's start with the background of the case study. ABC Private Limited is a listed company in the sourcing of component parts for automotive and the manufacturing of engines. The company headquarters are located at Gold Coast. In their finance department, the company external auditor is connected to the current CEO since he was the firm's previous audit partner, and no complaint have been highlighted by the external auditors throughout the course of the review in recent years. Furthermore, neither the financial manager nor the financial controller reviewed the balance sheet account reconciliation. Another aspect about their procurement department in Malaysia is that it is led by ex-military officers who were recruited to work for the company. He oversees the acquisition of important components and personally handles all negotiation, also verified and approved all vendor management documentation. Aside from that, no quotes are necessary for stock purchases. The head of the procurement department lived a luxurious lifestyle and never neglected to reward his employees. People in the company would not dare to challenge him since he was in a high-ranking position and had a strong personality. No one questioned his authority on procurement issue since he always produced results to management in keeping costs low and delivering the needed stock goods. To the audit committee chairman, an anonymous letter claimed that the Malaysian procurement department head was working with suppliers to cheat the corporation. He was accused of taking over $5 million from the firm, awarding non-competitive contracts to vendors and ordering products in excess. Next, certain suppliers received duplicate invoice payment, and lastly, the same suppliers supplied the same things at various prices in the same month.
Next, I will move to the question 1, which is identify plot that head of procurement devised to defraud the company. Based on the case study, we had identified the potential plot that head of procurement devised to defraud the company. Firstly, it seemed like the head of procurement likely manipulated the purchase order. The head of procurement paid purchase order with inflated quantities and prices. This means that the company paid more than necessary for goods and services, with the excess funds being siphoned off for personal gain. Next, the head of procurement also issued duplicate purchase order for the same good or services. This resulted in the company making multiple payments for a single delivery. Next, it seems like there is an exploitation of supplier relationship. This is because the head of procurement, instead of buying from a selected group supplier, and would personally handle all negotiation. This plot involved intentionally favoring specific supplier without seeking competitive bids or proposal from other potential vendors. By doing so, the head of procurement may have artificially inflated the prices of goods and services, that leading to non-competitive pricing and reduced transparency in the procurement process, which could also lead to the significant financial losses for the company. Lastly, the head of procurement also likely to manipulated the vendor evaluation. The head of procurement manipulated the criteria and result of the vendor evaluation to favor certain supplier. These suppliers were often part of the fraudulence. This is because by falsifying, the head of procurement ensured that this supplier was selected over more qualified and honest vendors, and the vendor selection process was skewed to ensure that the contract were awarded to compensated supplier. This was done by manipulating the evaluation criteria such as quality score, delivery time, and cost effectiveness to make the fraudulent supplier appear as the best choice. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Thank you, Yasmin. Hi, Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. My name is Khairunisa and I will move to the next question, which is identify the red flag of the case study. Under Finance Department, there are 3 red flags we have identified, which the first one is top-down strategy to management. In this case, the company has a top-down organizational culture in which management passes down those instructions to employees with a little room or limited tolerance for disagreeing or criticizing judgment. Hence, this can be resulted to lack of transparency and accountability, as well as making it more challenging for employees to voice out their concerns about any potential wrongdoings. Next is suppression of inquiries from auditors. In this case, junior auditors raised questions regarding business process, particularly in procurement, but were told not to question and just do their job. This calls into doubt on the objectivity and the potential for conflicts of interest to occur. The third red flag goes to the lack of evaluation on balance sheet reconciliation. As stated in the case study, the balance sheet reconciliation were not reviewed properly by the finance manager and the financial controller. The review process, additionally, is a basic control measure to ensure the accuracy of the financial statement. Hence, any lack of control of fraudulent actions may go undetected. For the procurement department, the first red flag is control over procurement. This is due to the head of department has an excessive level of control over the procurement process. This raises concern and may contribute to the culture where questionable practices go unchallenged, causing the risk to the integrity of procurement function within the company that include the possibility of bias, corruption, or any other unethical practices. The second red flag is limited oversight, where the head of the procurement department is the sole approving officer for vendor management processes with minimal involvement from others. This creates issue where there is the potential for no signs of check and balance, as the signing is single-handedly done by the head of procurement, while the review should be carried out by others. The third red flag for procurement department is inappropriate personal conduct. This is due to the lavish lifestyle and personal relationship portrayed by the head of department and questionable relationship with staffs. The mention of having his ways with women and being a slick talker implies a potentially inappropriate and manipulates behavior towards its female staff members. This creates concern regarding favoritism, potential misuse of power dynamics, and the creation of uncomfortable cohesive work environment. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Ainaida. I will continue question 3. Identify the control weaknesses in the procurement and finance processes and thereafter make the appropriate recommendations. There are 4 control weaknesses, which are lack of oversight and authorization control, lack of competitive bidding and window evaluation, lack of reconciliation and review, lack of transparency and oversight in supplier relationships. The first one is lack of oversight and authorization control. The head of the procurement department has access to authority and control over procurement activities, including the ability to transact up to $50,000 without oversight. This lack of segregation of duties and authorization control create an environment of risk and fraud abuse. The second one is lack of competitive bidding and window evaluation. The procurement department does not constantly follow the company's process of obtaining quotation for non-stock component purchases, and the head of the procurement department unilaterally approve window evaluation. This lack of competitive bidding and window evaluation increase the risk of overpaying for goods and services. Next, lack of reconciliation and review. Balance sheet account reconciliation is not reviewed by the finance managers or the financial controller. Additionally, debtors and creditor statements are not reconciled, and the window statements are sent directly to the head of the procurement department instead of the finance department. This lack of reconciliation and review create opportunities for financial misstatement and fraud. Last but not least, lack of transparency and oversight in the supplier relationships. The head of the procurement department engaged in non-competitive contract or the item above required quantities and also made duplicate payments for suppliers. The lack of transparency and oversight in supplier relationships allow for fraudulent activities to occur. Next, I will proceed with the recommendation. First, segregation of duties. Implement segregation of duties to ensure that no single individual has excessive control over procurement activities. This includes separating the authorization, recording, and custody of the procurement transaction. The second one is enhance oversight and review. Establish a robust review process for balance sheet account reconciliation, debtors and creditor statement, and also the window relationship. This should involve regular review by the management to detect and prevent irregularities. Next, strengthened procurement policies. Strictly enforce company procurement policies, including obtaining multiple quotations for non-stock purchases and conducting through window evaluation. This will promote transparency and fair competition in procurement activities. And lastly, whistleblower mechanism. Implement confidential whistleblower mechanism to encourage employees to report any suspected fraudulent activities without fear of retaliations.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Najah Ashrafi Tino Azmi, and for next, I will explain regarding the case issue that occurred in this company where need to review the content of the letter and carry out investigation to validate if the allegation made is indeed true. So, there is audit program outline that I have prepared, which this outline is to investigate the claims made in the anonymous letter received by the audit committee chairman to determine if the head of the procurement department has been colluding with suppliers to defraud the company, to cover the procurement records and transactions for the past 3 years, and to review the entire procurement, which is to identify any irregularities in the fraudulent activities. So next, I will explain the audit procedures computed in this outline. There are 5 procedures. Firstly is to review of procurement records. The auditor will verify the procurement process and ensure that all contracts were competitively awarded, check for any irregularities in the bidding process such as non-competitive bidding or lack of transparency, and review the procurement records to identify any unusual patterns or discrepancies in the quantities ordered. Secondly is verification of payments. The auditor will review all payments made to suppliers during the past 3 years to verify that all payments were made for legitimate goods and services and check for any duplicate payments or payments made for the same items at different prices. Thirdly is supplier verification, where the auditor need to verify the identities and reputations of the all suppliers involved in the procurement process and check for any red flags or warning signs that may indicate fraudulent activities. That's all from me, thank you.
For the fourth audit procedure is interviews. Conduct interview with the head of the procurement department, other procurement personnel and suppliers involved in the procurement process in order to get a deeper understanding of how procurement process are managed, potential risks, internal controls, and ensuring compliance with policies and regulation, and verify the accuracy of the information provided. Lastly, analysis of financial data. Analyze the financial data related to the procurement process, including the total value of the contract awarded and the total amount paid to suppliers to ensure transparency and accuracy of the data, and do not forget to identify any unusual patterns or discrepancies in the financial data that may indicate fraudulent activities, as it can lead to financial losses for the organisation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Huda and I will continue with the last question. The question is the relationship between the external auditor and the client an appropriate one? If not, why, and state the reason. Okay, from the case study, the relationship between the external auditor and ABC Private Limited Company is inappropriate due to several reasons. First, there is conflict of interest. This is because of the external auditor is related to the CEO and the audit partner is a close associate of the financial controller. This personal connection undermines the objectivity and independence required of an external auditor that may lead to a lack of thoroughness in the audit process. The fact that the external auditor was a former audit partner of the CEO and that substantial fees are paid to the auditing firm further exacerbates this concern. Next, there is inappropriate because of the substantial fees. The company pays substantial fees over $250,000 to the external auditor, covering statutory, taxation, and consulting services, which is a significant portion of the company's revenue. This financial dependence could influence the auditor's willingness to challenge the client that may lead to a bias in their auditing and potentially hide any irregularities. Lastly, lack of issues raised. The external auditor has not identified any significant issues during the course of review in the recent years. Junior auditors are discouraged from questioning processes due to the substantial client fee and potential repercussions. This can indicate that the auditor is not performing their duties independently and may be influenced by the client. This lack of scrutiny can indicate that the auditor is concealing any irregularities and not carrying out their responsibilities in efficient manners. Due to that reason, the relationship between the company and the external auditor is not appropriate. Okay, that's all about ABC Private Limited Company. Thank you.